Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Micron. It is time for another update, and it seems we have failed to hold our 11 levels of support that would have allowed direct extensions within this wave to the upside. And of course, different type of extensions are possible, and that will make sense as soon as we get into the smaller time frame. But in the previous video we did highlight that we did not need any further extensions. Yes, we provided here within the smaller time frame this pattern, this ABC structure we have been tracking within a wave 5, where within the wave C we had a full count. We didn't need any further extensions. We have fulfilled all minimum expectations, and we have even reached the ideal target within a wave C, which was already signaling that this pattern did not need to follow through any further to allow a top to be in place. Yes, we provided this ideal target actually as soon as we had the wave B bottom. When this ideal target was available to be tracked, we provided it. And you may be thinking right now whether Micron is still a stock you should consider to hold in your portfolio. Well, I can tell you this entirely depends on the time frame, because within this structure, it is certainly a high risk asset. It is likely towards the end of a quite substantial uptrend, and we will go into the larger time frame in a moment, where we will show you our minimum expectations in the case of a major top within this area. But we have broken the relevant levels of support, and if we are to discuss strictly this time frame where you have used the area of support for a trade setup, or maybe you have been accumulating slightly above it, as this has been really a minimal correction within the wave B, looking for an exit right now might not be a bad idea, as the pattern doesn't have any strong indication of extending to higher prices. And we will provide the full story in a moment, but before that I want to go quickly through the larger time frame. And here we have been tracking two main scenarios. Now, the beautiful part about the Elliott Wave theory and this structure is that within both interpretations, we find it rather likely that we would extend within one more high to the upside, right? Within this structure, we have been looking for an impulse to be forming, where we would expect to see a wave 4 correction, in the case of a top within the wave 3, into the area of support, which, attention here, starts at $330. Yes, if we have a top within this wave 3, our minimum expectation for a wave 4 correction would be to have the $330 level achieved. Now, it doesn't need to be a push below that. It could be even a wick touching this level. It would be sufficient to have fulfilled the minimum expectations. We have really done that within the wave B, we have shown a moment ago. But at the same time, the area of support extends down to $221. That is the 50% retracement. And this structure, while it is likely within both white and yellow scenarios that it will extend to higher prices, it is not guaranteed that it will. Yes, we are looking for continuation to higher prices against the 50% retracement. If we fail to hold it, it would be a signal that we would have a top within the wave 1, within a structure that would tell us to look for a much deeper retracement, where the first level of support would be, well, let's actually adjust this because this hasn't been adjusted, but the first level of support is at $53.6. Now, of course, there are in-between scenarios as well that would allow different types of extensions, but those are actually quite unlikely patterns in my opinion. And yes, this is the high risk that below the $221 level, we are looking for a much more substantial drop. Now, if you value having these areas of support, these roadmaps, I would recommend to subscribe, as we are going to keep Micron up to date. We are going to track this entire movement to the upside, and we are going to track even the follow-up. And while this next wave to the upside is the likely portion and allows for a more easily trackable structure, it will certainly become much more difficult once we have that top in place, depending on which scenario ends up following through afterwards, because in the white interpretation, we expect a larger correction. In the yellow interpretation, we expect continued upside towards much higher prices, as this would have only been basically the end of the midpoint of a large uptrend, yeah? This would have been the midpoint of this movement to the upside, right? Now, In the smaller time frame, let's actually move on with the video because it's already getting quite long. We have been tracking this extension within wave 3. We have been looking for an ending diagonal within the wave 5 of this wave 3, and we have built it quite nicely already. We have fulfilled the minimum expectations, we have the entire structure, and if this has a top in place, the larger wave 4 correction in blue would be expected to follow. Now, even within the assumption where we have broken all relevant levels of support for an extension in a wave C in this structure, or basically internally within this wave to the upside, we would still be able to track continuation to higher prices, but not within the scenarios we provided in the previous video, which would have allowed this wave C to extend directly higher, but this is no longer a possibility. For context, for anyone who is wondering, we have been tracking either a larger ending diagonal within this wave C in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The last level of support was at $436, and then we were also looking for an internal extension of this movement to the upside. Well, that would have allowed one more high against the $455 level. Now that we have broken the 61.8% retracement for the yellow structure, we had a signal that this pattern was already likely to have a top in place within this wave 3, or at least within a wave A of a larger ABC structure within this wave 5 in orange. So yes, it is still possible to extend to higher prices, but we have an unlikely pattern. We have even fulfilled the expectations of a wave 5, and now we have a 3-wave move to the upside, which can be tracked as a wave A, and we would be able to look still for a wave C in continuation to higher prices, but this is an unlikely structure. This doesn't need to happen, it doesn't fulfill any further expectations, and while this doesn't say, no, this structure cannot happen, and we do not imply that, we imply that it is not necessary, that this doesn't provide you an edge in looking for extensions to higher prices from this support zone. And on this channel, we are really looking always for high quality structures. Structures that have high probabilities of continuation to higher prices. Structures that provide those high probabilities together with incredibly attractive risk-reward ratios. And while the risk-reward ratio can be something to be used within this structure as we head lower and lower within this support zone, it's not as favorable as when we have an initial 5-wave move to the upside that strongly suggests that we would expect a 3-wave correction into such an area of support. Yes, within a wave B outside of a zigzag pattern, we would expect typically more difficult corrections than what we would have within a zigzag pattern or within a wave 2. Now, I'm not here to predict whether this structure will succeed in extending to higher prices or not. I am here to point out that we have the necessary structure for a top within this wave 3. We don't have any indication of further extensions within this movement, within this as a wave 5 directly, and I suppose I will track this extension within yellow, as within the orange interpretation we really fulfilled everything that we wanted to see. And now I would consider, once again, to be clear for everyone, that ideally we have a top in place within this wave 3, that ideally we are heading into the larger area of support for a wave 4, which starts at $330, which is the beginning of an accumulation area in my opinion. And this is not financial advice, it is entirely up to you whether you choose to purchase or not. This is my opinion, this is my accumulation area, and I'm not telling any one of you what to do with it. Now, in this movement to the downside, we so far are looking at what seems to be a 3-wave pattern. It is possible to build something like an A, B, C structure for this wave B in yellow. Even within a large extension, something like this is possible, but my focus will remain, as long as it is available to us, this idea of a larger leading diagonal in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And within this expectation, sure, let's track it in white, why not? We would be looking to build here within the wave 3 an A, B, C structure. Within this wave C, I would be looking to build a 5-wave pattern as always, and within this time frame, we do not get much data on whether this is an impulse or not. Based on the wick within this small time frame, I would rather be inclined to believe that It might not even be building a wave C after all, but this will be my primary expectation, and I would like to see the relevant levels of resistance broken to actually track something else. So we have here a 1 down, a 2 up, a wave 3 down, and a wave 4 and a wave 5. I have to say, I probably prefer the interpretation where this wave C is unfolding within an ending diagonal. Now, even within the 5-minute time frame, we do not get much data. Even within this wave 1, could be tracked as an impulse, could be tracked as a diagonal structure. But within this wave 3, it is actually quite difficult to track an impulse outside maybe of the idea of a double 1-2-1-2 setup here, where a wave 3 would be expected to currently form. I don't really trust that structure. I might prefer this to be either a 1-2-3 or to have here a 1-2 and then a wave 3 that would be extending to lower prices. But I'm not here to overanalyze the smaller time frame. I will instead provide you a relevant area of resistance under the assumption that a wave 3 bottom could be in place. Yeah, we only really care for a signal that this structure is not extending to lower prices directly, and for that I would be looking for a break above $438.4, or who knows, maybe we are forming something like a WXY structure within this wave B in yellow, and the wave C could be taking us to higher prices. Well, my first signal for a failure to build a 5-wave pattern in this area would be here to break the $438.4 level. Now, mind the time frame because I'm not going to provide further analysis within it, as it is not reliable. Yes, distortions are readily available for such structures, and before we end the video, I also wanted to highlight here on the RSI the fact that we are looking to be likely within a topping region, right? We have divergences here within the wave 3 of a wave 5. We see a lower high, we have the higher high here within a wave 3 in this area, and then we are looking at another lower high in the internal wave 5 of this overall wave 5 to the upside. It's not a hard rule that we must see the wave 4 correction for those reasons, but it is something to consider. It is a warning sign, and even on the weekly, we see at least within this internal wave 5 to the upside that we get some divergences. It's not so apparent within the overall wave 3. We actually formed a higher high within this time frame, but I would actually associate that with the structure itself and the time frame it works better within. Yeah, and it's not even uncommon to get a higher high within the wave 3 of the wave 5 in such strong uptrends. But for now, there really isn't much else to add. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership, and as a thank you for any of these actions, I would like to invite you to sign up to our channel newsletter, where you get access to our monthly top picks, where we identify for you high quality structures and actually great opportunities. The link for sign up is in the description, and it is completely free. Other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days or weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.